more rounds. Fist flying, no bounds. Podcast kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills nights get loud. Big EQB, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. I am distracted because Dana White was just on announcing a bunch of fights, and yeah, I was not locked in, and I happened to notice out of the corner of my eye that that Instagram came up, and I was paying attention to something else, so I jumped in right in like after the very beginning. And then he's just going through shit, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta start the show. And I didn't hear all of it, so I'm gonna just go ahead and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wait for some updates here, and and then I will see what all got announced, because yeah, I couldn't keep up with it, and it's just because I was ready to do this. So yeah, and oddly enough, my chat picked up the chat coming in from the Instagram live. So like, you don't see it because it's not coming from me, but the Instagram live chat populated in my window, and that's kind of strange. I was like, why is my chat popping off? And I haven't even started. It wasn't that, it was the Instagram one. So that's a good thing to know, because I did not know that my chat pop-up would pick up something like that. So kind of crazy. A lot of weird comments going on in there, but yeah, I did hear Virna Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern for the what was that, strawweight or flight? I'm gonna have to like go through all this and find out here in just a minute, but they're fighting for, yeah, strawweight, I think, because Weili Zhang is vacating her title and moving up to fight Valentina Shevchenko. So it's kind of weird, because I feel like I saw some of these talked about the other day or yesterday maybe, and I saw some posts about it. So I was like, wonder if is there any truth to this? And then of course everything started popping up, and I'm like, wow, all right. And he started telling us about what was happening, and then it all makes sense. And I'm like, this is deja vu. Why am I? Okay, here we go. So we got Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev, November 15th. They'll be fighting each other. So Islam is going up. Yeah, Islam's going up. Damn. So Weili Zhang versus Valentina Shevchenko, and Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. So those are some good fights announced right there. So yeah, Makhachev versus Jack Della. Holy shit. Yeah, I was listening. I jumped in right when he said Jack Della Maddalena. I should have known when he said that Islam was going for another title. So I mean, we kind of knew that was happening, I guess, but it hadn't been official yet. So we had to make it official, and there it was. It just got made official, and that's good, because at least we know now. So we got that. We got Weili Zhang versus Valentina Shevchenko on that same card. And then also Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Let's see what else. Let me see if anything else will come up for me. Those are the only ones that have populated so far. I hate when it happens right in the, like, I was wanting it to happen earlier so that I could, you know, bring out some visuals and talk about it on here. But of course, that didn't happen. So yeah, Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern. They fought each other in the past. That's happening October 25th. We also got Usman Nurmagomedov versus Bautista on October 25th as well. And Paramount will include all access to all UFC pay-per-view. Okay, yeah, that's stupid. What else? That's it. That's all I see for now, which is fine. I'm sure somebody will jump in the chat with some questions or something like that going on. Anyway, breaking news right at the beginning, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. At least we got a couple things out of the way. There's not a whole lot to talk about because we kind of knew Islam versus Jack Della was going to happen. And we also knew, well, no, we didn't know about Weili Zhang versus Valentina, but it's been speculated about. So there's just a few things in there. I mean, Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates, that's a pretty damn good fight. And then Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern. So nothing crazy. Shit that we kind of just already knew a little bit about. So it is what it is. So I guess I didn't miss out too much, because I would have been mad if it would have been something super spectacular. We still would have talked about it, obviously. But anyway, how's it going? My chat window over here is like weird to me. I don't know how to clear it out. Tersey, what's up, Tersey? Leon Prates, my favorite, added. We already knew this, though. I was hoping for a Topuria fight news. Yeah. So that's kind of the thing with all of it, is we kind of had an idea about some of these. It's been talked about, and usually when they talk about it the way that they do, you know, we kind of have an idea it's gonna get made. So it got made, and that's cool. At least we now know it's official, and we know it's coming up over the next couple months. And I'm sure some shit will be added too, because they don't have everything locked in just yet. And even if they do, stuff changes. So Lerone Volk, Pantoja Van, December, not official yet. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing too. So that would be those would definitely be some good fights. Everyone in the comment section of the live for Instagram was like, Topuria. How about Topuria? So yeah, everybody's wanting that one. But we didn't get that news, but that's all right. So, other than that, looking like Topuria January, Chimaev February. Yeah, that makes sense. Because let's see, what was it? I saw something. There was something I saw the other day that said that wasn't going to happen like we thought sometime soon. I don't know. I've been seeing all kinds of rumored stuff. Open up Paramount cards. Oh, yeah. Opening cards for Paramount. That makes a lot of sense, actually. That would be good, too, because Chimaev being a new champ brought in, obviously brings in a whole kind of different demographic. And then Topuria just being as famous as he is internationally. They're two of the biggest names right now, especially with the way Chimaev just won. Dana White said the White House is official, too. Oh, he did? Okay. Yeah, I must have missed that one. He said he was coming from the White House, I thought he said. So, well, that's good. I mean, we kind of already knew that was going to happen as well, but at least now we know it's official. I heard the news about him saying that the cage was too heavy for the lawn, so they were trying to work out logistically what was going to happen. So I don't know if they're going to maybe build a special cage, or they're going to reinforce things somehow. 25,000 pounds for the goddamn cage? That's insane. That's what he went to DC today. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, what the fuck is going on with that cage to be that damn heavy? But I mean, of course they have a ton of shit. I actually saw Brendan Fitzgerald on his, I think it was his TikTok that I saw. He was giving a kind of a tour from behind the scenes and showing under the cage. It looks like that's where they run a lot of their cabling. There's lights down there. There's all kinds of shit, but I'm sure the structure is what really weighs the most. But 25,000 pounds is like, fuck. I was looking for my sounds. I don't have them popped up. I always take them down because it's just like an overlay on on my screen, and it can kind of float there, because I use the virtual stream deck for some of my stuff. Where is it? But then I keep it up. There it is. So then I keep it up for just sounds, because I use the stream deck to change everything you guys see on the screen. So the virtual one is there, but it overlays on top of anything that pops up. So when I have just my laptop out with me outside of this room, and I'm, prepping stuff, it's kind of in the way because I only have the one screen. When I'm used to in here having two big screens plus the laptop, now I actually put another screen down there, one that I used to have up. So I need to put up my my GoPro again so I can show behind the scenes stuff. I just don't have it plugged in right now. But it is what it is. Anyway, Tersey, thanks for jumping in again, man. I appreciate you. And yeah, welcome back. We got some stuff to talk about. There's no UFC this week. We just got some UFC news, but there's no UFC event this week, and that's all right. It's Labor Day weekend. We have some stuff to fill it in, and actually, it's some decent events. I mean, it depends. If you don't give a shit about some of this stuff, I understand. But DBX Dirty Boxing is actually pretty legit. I like their events. I like everything around it. They're still kind of up and coming, trying to, but they got stars on there, all kinds of ex-UFC fighters. We just saw Brian Battle move over to DBX, and he's fighting on this card after missing weight and getting his fight canceled at the last UFC event. We got Jairzinho Rosenstruck, who was a contender, and do you want to mod me so I can share links to fight news on here? Shit, yeah, we could probably do that, man. Especially if you're gonna be on here all the time, I would appreciate that. I've never thought about having a mod, but that would be sick. I'm gonna have to. I don't know how to do that, honestly, because I've never messed with it or done anything with it. So I will have to figure that out. But that would be sick because yeah, it's a little tough keeping up with everything while I'm going, and you do a good job of. I don't know how to either. Don't worry, man. I'll figure it out. I'm pretty good at figuring things out. It's just when it's new to me, I need a little bit of time to, kind of look into it, make sure I'm doing it correctly and all that good stuff. But hey, I appreciate you for that, honestly, especially when it comes to other stuff with people being stupid and having to maybe you know block them or something like that. But other than that, yeah, upcoming news, that's great, because if you're there keeping track, shit, sounds like you do a good job of it too, because you know things that I'm a little iffy about at the moment because I haven't had time to look into it. So I appreciate that, and we'll definitely get that taken care of. So anyway, yeah, so we got DBX3 happening. It's their third official event. They've had four. The first one was a private one, and it had a kind of gritty, grimy type feel to it. But it was dope, and now they're doing their official event, so it looks pretty cool still, but it had a different feel for that private event that they had initially. So they got some other former UFC fighters on there. Max Holloway randomly modded me one time for his YT channel. Oh shit, that's pretty dope. Yeah, so I guess you get around, huh? In a good way. I listen, don't think I'm weird for this, okay? But I saw that you just subscribed today. and I laughed at that because I'm constantly telling people to subscribe and shit. And don't worry, I don't care. It's all good. You come back all the time. You find me still. So whatever works. But I happen to and it popped up, and I happened to actually click on your name, and it brings up your YouTube channel. And I see that you were a baseball player, which is pretty badass, because I played baseball from like T-ball all the way through high school. Obviously wasn't that great as far as like going anywhere with it, but I had fun with it. It was my passion for the longest of times. It's just I had to grow up real fast in high school, so I didn't get a chance to go any further with that. But I saw that you were a pitcher and stuff, and that looked pretty dope, man. So I wanted to give you your props because you were throwing some junk out there. Oh, okay. I see you. I see what you're saying. Right on. Well, I appreciate you for sticking around, even though but yeah, that's funny. But yeah, thanks for jumping back on. So yeah, it's cool, man. And it looks like you were doing pretty well with baseball there. I don't know if you still play or not, but it looked pretty dope. It was only from a year ago I saw that your videos were up there. So anyway, don't think I'm weird. I was just checking things out because I was like, oh shit, it's Tersey. I thought he was already subscribed. Anyway, congrats to you, Tersey, because you look like you're throwing some junk in there. I was really good. I played professionally. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize the team names, but I'm like, maybe they're farm teams or something. So that's pretty badass, man. And I went to high school with a guy that played on the Diamondbacks for a short period of time. He got mad at me one time because he was like a senior and I think I was a sophomore or something. And he was trying to show how badass he was, and he was throwing heat, and I cracked one over the fence on him. And even though it was just BP, he was mad at me because he's like Mr. High Level, minor league affiliated MLB team in Pennsylvania. Oh shit, that's badass, man. Hell yeah. That's cool. I just wanted to give you your props because it looked like you were pretty damn good, throwing some heat, throwing some junk, and striking some motherfuckers out. That was dope. But yeah, anyway, like I said, I'm just a regular dude, man. So like I just come on here and I try to stay consistent. And I was a slider guy. Hell yeah. I actually learned how to throw a slider for a short period of time, like where I actually had some movement. I pitched only a little bit. It was, little league shit. Going into high school, I think I pitched one game because all of our pitchers were injured. And I was like, well, I pitched in the past, so whatever. I didn't do horribly. I think we won that game. I got relieved at one point, but I don't fully remember all the details because it was a long ass time ago. But yeah, baseball was fun. I got injured in my freshman year, ruptured my spleen. Fastest I ever threw was 95, but mostly 90. Damn, that's still heat though. In the 90s, regardless, is fucking good shit. Not everybody can throw 101, 104. Fuck that. When's the last time I played? Oh my God. Baseball itself, it's been shortly after high school. I think I played in a men's league for like a year or two. Not even that. Maybe like a few months, honestly. Probably not even a year. Just didn't have time for it. I was working 2 jobs trying to, raise my kids. But I played, I did the old man thing and jumped into some softball for about 5-6 years. And then I quit doing that. Now I just play golf. Bro, the scouts for MLB told me I wasn't throwing hard enough. That's why I couldn't sign. Goddamn, what do they want? Fucking 110 mile an hour fastballs and shit. Like, I feel like 90s is pretty good, but what the fuck do I know, right? Scouts are looking for specifics, I guess, at times. They said they had overseas kids at 17. Well, fucking go get them then, right? Yeah, how many of them have shown up in the majors? But 97 to 100 means a very short career, I would think. I mean, I know nowadays recovery is a lot better, and I was all, oh hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's never good enough, man. There's always something more that they're looking for. Whatever. Looked like you were doing pretty damn well in those videos I saw. So, congrats to you, regardless. I don't know. Do you still play at all, or did you just give it up? Was a year ago? Were those videos like from a year ago, or did you just post those a year ago? That was kind of what I was wondering. And I meant to bring it up too, and then you jumped in right away with some news. So. Got distracted, but I didn't want to seem weird either. But I mean, I thought it was cool. I was like, baseball, that's my thing. I always wearing a Braves hat, because I'm a big Braves fan. So, but anyway, it's been a long time, but I still love baseball. I don't watch it because I just watch nothing but MMA because fuck, it's tough these days. But regardless, I still love baseball, and the Braves are still my team. So, yeah. Anyway, we also have Misfits Boxing going on this weekend, and that is featuring some more former UFC fighters. We got Darren Till versus Luke Rockhold, which is a pretty good matchup, honestly. Darren Till's been kind of killing it in boxing lately, and Luke Rockhold has jumped around from different things. He tried to do some BKFC, some bare knuckle, got his tooth fucking knocked out by Mike Perry and quit, basically. So that wasn't for him, Mr. Ralph Lauren, fucking male model and shit. Doesn't want to get his face fucked up. I understand. He had that crazy fight with Paulo Costa as it was, where he was leaking like a faucet, and then goes to BKFC and fucking gets his tooth knocked out. But then he did some karate combat and he beat Joe. Fuck, what was his name? God damn it. One of Cowboys boys from back in the day. Really good kickboxer, Muay Thai guy. Joe, fuck, he went viral for knocking some fool out in a bar too. Anyway, he was a badass, but yeah, Rockhold beat him in karate combat, so he's been in there doing some things too. And then we got fucking El Cucuy, Tony Ferguson, man, shit, coming back and doing some boxing, fighting Salt Papi of all people, which, if you know who Salt Papi is, he's just a big fucking internet guy, big on social media, kind of goofy fuck. but still funny, and a lot of memes made about him. And he took up boxing when he was kind of a chubby kid still, and he's lost a lot of weight. He's been doing pretty well. He's actually not a bad boxer, and I'm surprised. I'm fucking surprised I'm saying that right now, but it's the truth. So he's fighting Tony Ferguson, so that should be interesting. And yeah, we'll get to whoever else is on that card because I don't remember at the moment. But Misfits Boxing is KSI's organization. So, you know, it started off kind of influencer boxing, and now, oh, Dillon Danis is on that. They're doing their first MMA match. It's been a couple years. I posted them on my channel from old clips. I've been a huge MMA fan. Don't follow baseball as much anymore. Yeah, that's kind of what most people do. Just bet on guys to hit homers for good odds. Oh, nice. At least you keep up with it that way. That's kind of how I keep up with football, as I do fantasy. I'm in a couple fantasy leagues. I don't take it very seriously, and it's not for money. It's kind of just those free ones that we do. Everybody just jumps in to have fun. But yeah, I don't even follow baseball much even like that anymore. I should take up some betting on some of this stuff, and that'll be how I keep up with it. But MMA rules all for me, and that's mostly because I do this show and I like to keep up with everything I can. So thanks for the info, Terzi, and thanks for keeping it. MMA is my heart now. Yeah, 100%, man. That's the way it's been for me for a long fucking time. So we're in the same boat. Happy to have you here, man. I appreciate you and all you know, everything you do to pitch in for the show and interactions and stuff. Much appreciated. And for modding soon, because you probably I'll get that handled, and we'll do that. So anyway, yeah, let me get to my sponsor real quick before we jump into all of this other stuff. Noctane Smelling Salts, of course. Got to give a shout out to my sponsor. Got to take a quick whiff of this and get myself nice and, oh, I turned on the light again instead of turning off the fan. Get a nice big whiff of this, make myself nice and alert and awake so that I'm not sleepy for you guys. Here we go. Oh, woo. Oh man, that was a good one. This is the most potent you can get from Noctane. It's the red cap. Holy shit. I almost took myself out. Woo, I'm going to be awake now. Wow, that was a good one. I haven't got a good one from that bottle in a minute. Holy shit. Anyway, yeah, it keeps you nice and awake and alert. As you can tell, huge rush of adrenaline. And a lot of power lifters and weightlifters and stuff use it to get a quick burst of adrenaline before they do a big lift and stuff like that. I use it to make sure to keep myself awake. Guru just went off on X. I can agree with him on this one take. Oh, what was the take? Was it about Rampage and stuff, or was it about the announcements? Because I know he was live waiting for the announcements. And he also talked about Rampage, talking shit about him. Anyway, thank you, Noctane. Announcements? Oh, okay. He must think they sucked. Thank you, Noctane, for the sponsorship. Appreciate you, as always. Go get yourself a bottle. You can scan that QR code that was just up there. There's a link in the description below. You can go check those out. Now that I'm nice and awake, whoo, feel like I'm going to sneeze. Damn. Okay. Now that I'm nice and awake and alert, we're going to get to things. I am going to talk about the Raja Jackson incident again. There's been some updates. I know we kind of... What tattoo you got? I never got any. Oh my God. I got a fucking ton, bro. Like, I am up this way. Yeah, I got... Listen, my brother-in-law was a tattoo artist. Still is. But when he was getting started, I wanted tattoos. So I started getting tats early. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sleeved up. I got a little bit of space here and there. I've got a memorial from one of my buddies that I actually played softball with. He played baseball his life too. That's why there's a Boston Red Sox in there. But we would drink Dos Equis like crazy. So I got the Dos Equis for him, the date he passed, and his number, and then the Boston Red Sox for him because he's a huge Red Sox fan. So yeah, I got a ton. I got some on my legs, my chest, my sternum, my back, my neck, right there. and on the back of my neck. So got my hands, couple on my hands. So yeah, I'm pretty tattered up. I went crazy. So yeah, let's get to it and talk about this. And nobody messing with you. You'd be surprised. Motherfuckers like to test. I'm getting too old for that shit, but I'll tell you right now, I don't back down. And that's why I got into fighting in the first place, because I used to like to fight in the streets. And so I had my heyday in the streets, and I had some fun. But those days are over now. Now it's just fucking self-defense if necessary. But you know, I still got that dog in me. So let's get to this. Let's get to this Raja update. So, you know, we hadn't seen Rampage Jackson. You only had one fight ever, like as in ever in your life, and I assume that was a street fight, maybe during baseball. I had a fight during baseball too, not on the field, but after. No, almost on the field. I actually almost fought a coach that was trying to get me thrown out of a game, and he started talking shit to my pops, and I pushed him and was about to swing on him, and I got tackled and thrown out. So that was fun. One street fight. Got you. I've been in too many. Wins and losses, but you know what? I had a good time. But yeah, Rampage was not streaming, obviously, because of what happened with Raja. I would say I lost, but I broke his nose. Hey, that's a fucking win. Unless you got beat down where you couldn't get up, that's a win. You're good. So Rampage hasn't been streaming because obviously what happened with Raja, but he popped back up on stream and he talked about stuff a little bit, you know, a little bit of what he could say. And of course, he's catching a lot of backlash because people are like, why are you out here streaming when your son damn near killed somebody? And I get what people are coming from with that. But at the same time, the only way he's going to keep up his, you know, streaming is to do it. And he still has to show face and show that he's still there and himself. So regardless of what people think, I think it's his way of coping and dealing, and he's also making money off this. So no matter what Raja did, Rampage still has his own career in streaming right now, and he's got to keep it going. So it is what it is. And he did say a couple things, one of which he says here, I wish I could say something. All I can say is a lot of racist people giving me death threats, stuff like I'm a puppet master, calling me a bad father. It's uncalled for. And I understand what he's saying about the racism stuff because it's running rampant, which I don't know why. I don't know why it has to. Just say that it was a disgusting, bad thing that he did. Let's not talk about the racist shit. It doesn't have to go there. It was bad enough what he did. You don't have to involve race. It doesn't matter what color or what religion or anything like that Raja Jackson was. Doesn't matter. What matters is the thing that he did. That's what was bad. That's what matters, and that's the only thing we should even talk about. But of course, all the racist shit has to come into play. So what else can I say except for typical fucking stupid people on the internet, right? And since Rampage lives on the internet right now, he's gonna see all that, and it's unfortunate. But there was a lot of, I mean, if you look at the situation, if you look at the scenes beforehand, what the backstage locker room looked like, if you really want to get down to it, Raja Jackson was not really in a place that he fit in that moment. So I assumed that the racism would come out, and it has quite a bit. Now, do I 100% agree with Rampage as far as his take on MMA Guru, who came out and said that Raja deserves to be in jail, as many people have said, but he called him a stupid animal, a dangerous animal. He kept saying animal. Now, I understand that can be misconstrued into racism because of Raja being black, and that's where Rampage, I think, is getting this from. Guru came out and talked about how is that racist when, you know, I'm just saying the truth. He was like a, you know, you think of like a rabid fucking dog or something who just like tears everything apart around him and destroys shit. That's, you know, maybe he's referring to something in that case. He didn't give that example. Maybe he should have, but he didn't. So keeping it out of context, it does sound a bit racist knowing what MMA Guru looks like and who he is. But at the same time, it doesn't have to go there. So I don't know. And with what everyone else is saying about the whole situation, I can understand why Rampage would think that that's where that was going. And that's what was meant by that. So, as far as Psycho Stu, there was a bunch of different reports coming out as to even some saying that he passed away, which he did not. He's conscious. He's able to talk again. Normally at this point, it sounds like as normal as you can when you've had facial injuries and teeth, you know, broken and busted out. But he's able to talk. He doesn't remember everything from the night, but he remembers some of the night. And it seems like he's definitely got recovery ahead of him. Obviously, judging by what happened, it's expected, and we know that, you know, it's going to take some time. So at least he's doing better, as it seems. Now, as far as everything else, we had AJ Mana, who's the guy on the right with the cowboy hat, and CT Fletcher, who's the guy on the far right, in the far right picture, with the regular, you know, with the regular hat on. He has a podcast called F Y'all with another guy who I didn't leave in the picture because the picture was stretched out. Didn't really need it for context. CT Fletcher is the main guy here. He had AJ Mana on. AJ is Raja's friend from childhood, it sounds like, and he's the guy that was in the backstage telling Raja to get his receipt. And he did say that he was in character when he said this, number one. Number two, he's explained to Raja what that means in the past, but he also kind of gave him a reminder when he told him that. I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw the video of AJ telling him that, I was like, well, motherfucker just said it himself. Like, he better feel bad. And I know that he feels bad for what happened, but there's all this other shit going around about how he set up Psycho Stu, that he had beef with him and basically had Raja, you know, do his dirty work for him and all this other shit. But AJ had a lot to say on this podcast. It was about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, and he went off. And I do feel for the guy in certain ways, and this is because as much of a kind of idiot, kind of douchebaggy guy he seemed like, especially in that video, he was playing a character. He's a wrestler, that's what he does. He does seem like he's pretty he's a pretty intense guy, I'll say that. So what he was saying in this podcast is that he's lost everything already. He cannot fight for that promotion anymore. He can't wrestle for that promotion anymore for multiple reasons, because they don't want him there anymore. But on top of that, he doesn't want to be there anymore because everyone there turned their back on him, and are basically setting it up to act like this is completely his fault, even though what he's saying is that the actual promoters, the multiple promoters that were there, were the ones that told Raja the things that Raja said on stream that he was told he could do, which is slam him and hit him for real, and keep hitting him until they pulled him off, because they said they would pull him off quickly. Now, how much of that is 100% true, we don't know. But there's other things involved in this. The guy that grabbed Raja and tackled him off of Psycho Stu when this was all going down, the guy with the pink dreads, he jumped in, gets Raja off of him, and then they go at it. This guy went on a podcast as well and started talking, and he basically said a bunch of shit about how disgusting it all was, how much Raja is a piece of shit and all this stuff, of course, because that's Psycho Stu's friend. But he also said that the promoters are basically telling them to keep their mouths shut and telling them not to cooperate with police and all of that, for the simple fact that the promotion can be held liable for some of this stuff, maybe all of it. because of what went down, how it went down, and because if they find out and find proof that these promoters said these things to Raja that he was saying on stream and he was allowed to do, then they basically set this all up and made it happen, and that's not good for them. And they're looking pretty guilty considering they're telling everybody to keep their mouth shut. And so the guy that came out, I don't remember his name, I apologize for that. I wish I would have remembered, because he's an integral part of all this at this point, because he's the one that took Raja off of Psycho Stu and stopped him, which probably saved his life, because as he said, if he didn't do that, he was pretty sure Raja wasn't going to stop. So, and it seemed that way, which is obviously bad, unfortunate, it sucks. Raja was blacked out, seeing red. Not that that's an excuse, but that's dangerous, and he could have done even worse with what he was doing, because he wasn't stopping. And that's what everyone's saying. Hey, if nobody would have stopped him, would he have continued to do it and killed him? And the answer is yes, he probably would have, considering what we saw and considering how it was going. That's probably where it would have gone, which would have been a whole different situation and 1,000 times worse. But getting back to AJ, he said that he lost his job, his actual job, his well-being, what he does to make money on a daily. He lost his job because of the events that happened, how viral everything has gone, and because he was wrapped up in it. He says that in the hour and 40 some minutes of streaming that Raja did throughout this entire thing, AJ says he was in it for a total of 8 minutes, which is fine. But the problem is what he said beforehand is what got out there. And so that showed, and he's the guy that brought Raja in. So the other part of this, which I had mentioned in the past episode, was the fact that Raja was there on business. Basically, he was supposed to be a part of the show, or at least be there for the show in a business type way, because I guess Rampage and Raja have been telling AJ to start streaming because it can help him with his career, get him noticed, maybe help him get to the WWE. So they were trying to get him involved in streaming. Rampage was helping him out and doing all this stuff, and Raja, of course, since he started streaming, was trying to help him get started with all of it too. And because of how big Rampage and Raja have gotten in the streaming world, the viral clips of Rampage and both of them, they figured this could help out the promotion as well as help out AJ. So that's why he brought Raja there. Now we all know the story, because I told it last time here, and if you didn't, I'm sure you've seen parts of it, that Raja, suffered a concussion in training the day before, 2 days before all this happened, and he was still having, symptoms and effects from that concussion. He said earlier in the day he missed another event because he was nauseous and throwing up and all this other stuff, which is really bad when you have a concussion. You shouldn't be doing anything, much less getting involved in this kind of shit. But AJ said a bunch of stuff about how, number one, that can was not a prop can, because a prop can wouldn't have had fluids coming out of it when it got smashed on someone's head like it did when Psycho Stu did that to Raja. So regardless of how Stu did it, it still wasn't in the way that they would normally do it, which you also see AJ say that in the video in the lead up to the event starting. So that's one other thing that he can kind of, he's kind of, you can kind of tell he's got a little bit of a receipt on that one, because he did say that on stream, that that's not the way that should be. That's not what they do. That's not how they do it in a work. So, he's got a little bit there. He also said that can was a beer can and it was full, and he's like, why the fuck do we have open containers of alcohol, much less why are we consuming alcohol before a professional wrestling event? That shouldn't be happening. And he said no one can deny it, because he's the one that was back there getting drunk with them before events. So he's snitching on himself in the way to make sure that everyone is aware of what happens back there. So you have all these videos talking about these guys being drunk and people combating that. Well, guess what? You just have a guy who's mixed up with all this saying that that's what they do back there. They get drunk and they go into the event doing that, and they should not be in a professional event getting drunk and intoxicated while doing, you know, the wrestling event and doing a professional event of that sort. Maybe if it was some kind of like offshoot fucking local bullshit event, whatever, but you shouldn't expect that from a kind of feeder league to the WWE. And the WWE has cut all their ties with Knox or Knox, whatever it's called, which is Rikishi's organization. Rikishi was a famous wrestler back in the day for WWF, WWE. So there's a lot to this, man. There's a lot. And I watched this entire podcast with AJ Mana, or Andre. You also hear him on the phone with Raja when the whole thing, everyone's talking about how can Raja just say my bad, when the guy on the phone was like, hey, he's not getting up, he's flatlined in the ring, and he just says, oh, it wasn't supposed to be like that, my bad. So yeah, of course, but I feel like he was in shock. That's not an excuse, it's just the truth and a fact that that's what happens to people, especially hearing something like that. So that's why he hung up right away too, I'm sure. But there was a lot to it. So if you go to the F Y'all podcast on YouTube, with CT Fletcher, that's where you can find this entire video and listen to everything AJ Mana said. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, but also I can find where people would be against him with some of the things that he talked about. Regardless, it is what it is. That's what happened. And yeah, between MMA Guru, Rampage, AJ, Raja, there's a whole lot of shit going on. The promotion telling people to stay quiet, the things that were possibly said to Raja in the lead up. Man, it's a complicated situation. And I'm not arguing for the outcome not being the same for Raja getting time in jail. Somebody that I don't like very much, Sean Strickland, actually put a post out there, which MMA Guru also tore apart. But he brought up some good points about the fact that if you put Raja in jail, he can get wrapped up in a lot of other shit that'll make things even worse, especially if he has the issues in his head that he has going on that led him to this. And he said rehabilitation's better than going to jail, getting wrapped up in gangs, getting wrapped up in violence that happens in jail, and things can get way worse. And he said you start to get verified by these kinds of actions, and people tend to admire when someone does things like murder somebody or attempted. So that's the bad stuff that happens in prison, and that's why he feels like maybe Raja can be saved. This is like the first time he's really done something like this. Not that that's an excuse either, because it doesn't matter if you injure somebody the way that he did, but you know, it's something to take into consideration on the side of empathy for him, regardless of whether people think he deserves it or not. Like I said, mistakes happen, and I'm not going to go through all this again. No one's in here combating me on it either, and that's fine. So I'll just leave it at that, and you can disagree with me if you want. It's fine, I fully understand, but it's just what I'm feeling at the moment, just what I'm saying. So in the end, we still have yet to see what happened. The investigation is still ongoing with the LAPD, and I don't know, they're either building a case or they're trying to find something to stick to be able to actually throw the book at Raja. People saying that he should be made an example of, all this other stuff. I fully understand where you're coming from, but it's yet to be known what's going to happen. So let's move on from that, and let's hit up some Dana White's Contender Series that happened on Tuesday. There was actually some really good fights that went on throughout this throughout this event, I mean. And we had all 5 winners getting a contract, which is pretty badass considering how Dana White's Contender Series has kind of gone down. The first week, the second week was a little better. They had contracts handed out, finishes, good fights. And then this week it just got better. So I just wanted to go over it quickly. We had Dante Johnson versus Darian Abbey, and this one ended in the first round. TKO win for Dante Johnson. Pretty good fight. I mean, it started off rough. There was a accidental low kick to the groin, and there was some time taken for that one in the first few seconds of the fight. And Dante was the one that got kicked, but he came back. He rocked Abby with a shot to the temple with the left hand, and basically dropped him. And he just followed up with a bunch of shots, just machine gunning shots to his head, and finishes him in the first round. It's the 6th first round finish for Dante in his career. He's a way shorter guy, so it was looking like, it was a weird matchup, but man, he was fast. He had a lot of power, and he took it on a short notice. So good for him. He took full advantage of the situation he was in, and he capitalized on it. So he gets a UFC contract after that fight. So that was a good first round finish. 1 minute and 4 seconds in, TKO win for Dante Johnson, and he's now in the UFC. Next up, we had Manuel Souza versus Christian Perez, and this one went to the 3rd round, but we had a TKO win for Souza in this one. It started off kind of rough for Souza. I mean, Perez comes in quickly, starts attacking, and he just bum rushes, man. It was a good start for Perez. Gets him down to the ground, works into some side control, keeps position and control for a little bit, but Souza was active on the bottom too, so it wasn't all bad for him. He threatened quickly with some submissions, and it was just one of those back and forth kind of fights. It was exciting. 4 minutes of control for Perez in the first round. He was active and got himself into some dominant positions and did some damage. So went to the second round. Perez did the same thing, comes in and attacks quick, and threatens with a bunch of submission attempts, but Souza comes back, gets good position of his own, and controls most of that one as well, and is dominant. And then the third round starts off with Souza landing big punches and strikes, and Perez just looked tired as hell. So he kind of wore himself out in those first 2 rounds and came back a little bit tired. He was a bit sloppy on his takedown attempts, a bit sloppy with his striking, and he was just getting beat up. So Souza took advantage of that in the third round, winds up landing some shots. Perez is just too tired to defend, and then Souza gets the finish with 2 minutes left after being down 0-2 in the first couple rounds, and winds up getting the TKO win. So third round finish for him, and I think that was the only one that got out of the first round, but it still winds up with the finish. So it's, it was a good night of fights. Next up, we had Abdul Rahman versus Yakayev versus Alik Lorenz. Fucking tough ass names, man. In the light heavyweight division, this was a 30-second TKO win for Yakayev, I think. And he's undefeated, 7-0 now. Gets the win over Lorenz. I mean, that was a quick one. 30-second finish, right hand, knee to the body, and then ground and pound. That's how that one finished up. So it was a pretty good and quick fight. 30 seconds in, can't beat it. Good win for him, and he looks like he's going to be someone to look out for sure coming into the UFC. Next up, we had Marcio Barboza versus Damon Wilson, and this one, first round as well. 4 minutes and 14 seconds in, Barboza gets the TKO win. At about 2 minutes, Barboza dropped Wilson. Wilson recovered, but Barboza was just fast, had good power, effective hooks. Those hooks, man, they were dirty, and he was landing them. So Wilson was durable, but he just couldn't hang. Just kept getting beat up, taking damage. Barboza gets a finish with 46 seconds left. Inside right hook dropped Wilson and then ground and pound finished him off. 16 out of his 17 wins have been in the first round for Barboza. So another good, fun, exciting fighter to be on the lookout for coming into the UFC with that contract win. And then we had the main event, Ryan Gondra versus Trent Miller. 2 minutes and 51 seconds into the first round, we had a TKO win for Gondra. He hurt Miller right away. Big right hands. Miller was surviving for a little bit there, but Gondra just kept the pressure and kept dropping him. Got him down in 2 minutes and 51 seconds left in the first and finishes it. He had good feints. His accuracy was there. I mean, it was just a good showing for Gondra. Good setups from the kicks to the punches to the head. It was one of those things where you're like, he wouldn't just kick once and back off. He'd kick once or twice and then follow up with some good punches. I mean, that's just good to do. Keeping active, showing what you can do. It was a good night of fights for Dana White's Contender Series. And yeah, I actually rewatched all of it. I jumped in the last two fights, so I went back and rewatched all of it. And I was happy that I did, because it was just a damn good night of fights. All finishes, all of them in the first round except for one. And it was a fun fight to watch regardless. So it was a good one. So that's it for Dana White's Contender Series, the week 3 for this season. And we'll have week 4 coming up. Let's get to DBX, our first big event happening this weekend since there's no UFC. And that's because it's Labor Day weekend. You know, they need to take some time off. They've been going strong. We have UFC Fight Night, Imavov versus Bahalio coming up. That's going to be a damn good one. And that's your Paris card. So, you know, they're just ramping up for Paris. And while they'll do events like that back to back, you know, they're probably just taking some time because of the holiday and stuff. So, you know, it's not, I got the hiccups. It's not a bad time to take the time off. It makes sense. So we got that big Paris card coming up next weekend, but this weekend no UFC. So we get to Dirty Boxing, DBX 3, Jairzinho Rosenstruck versus Rakeem Cleveland, who is a step in late notice for Rob Perez, who is supposed to be fighting for the inaugural heavyweight championship for Dirty Boxing. And man, my boy Rob, the Wolf Perez, I was so happy to see him going for that title after he beat Alex Nicholson in his last fight back a few months back. I got to interview him before that fight, and it was a fun interview. Go back and check that out if you would like to see what Rob Perez is all about. He's a wild boy. Go follow his Instagram. You'll know what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, he got some pretty serious injuries, but he says he's recovering well and he'll be back. But he said they can keep his belt warm for now. So they you know, brought out the belt today during the weigh-ins and face-offs. So it was it's a pretty interesting belt. I didn't get any pictures of it. I kind of forgot about the fact that they brought the belt out. But it's like more of a squared type belt. It looks way different than anybody else's belts out there, but it seems to be pretty heavy and pretty fancy. So DBX with their first title fight ever happening tomorrow night. It's actually happening tomorrow night on Friday, and it's free to watch on YouTube. So go check it out because it's a great event. It's some exciting fights. The Dirty Boxing is an offshoot of regular boxing mixed in with some like Muay Thai / MMA strikes on the feet. There's no kicking, but they can elbow, they can do spinning attacks, and they can do ground and pound. But if you drop somebody on the ground, you can't get on the ground and mount them or anything like that. You have to strike from your feet. So you can only land punches while you're on the ground, and I mean while you're standing on your feet, punching the person on the ground. So we've seen some somewhat questionable kind of attacks happening in some of these events, but everyone's still trying to get used to the rules. The refs are giving some leeway. So it's a fun fight to watch. I mean, fun fights to watch, fun event. We have a lot of former UFC fighters on this card especially, but on all of the cards there's been former UFC fighters, and Rob Perez, who was supposed to be fighting, has actually beat 2 former UFC fighters in his 2 previous fights for DBX, and he was looking to get the title, but unfortunately got injured, so he's out. So Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who was a contender in the UFC heavyweight division for a little while, is now fighting for the title, and I believe is probably the favorite at this point, because I've never really heard of Rakeem Cleveland, but I mean, that just might be my ignorance to things. I'm not sure. I like to be real. So we also got Jessica Rose Clark, Jessie Jess fighting in this one. Hector Lombard, who's a fucking savage, and then Brian Battle, after missing weight in the UFC and getting cut, he is now quickly coming to Dirty Boxing and did weigh in and did make weight. So you'll be happy to know if you're a Brian Battle fan. I know a lot of people aren't anymore after missing weight twice in a row in 2 different weight classes for the UFC. In the highest level of things, he fucked up, man, and it sucks to see, but he's back and he's at Dirty Boxing. He didn't miss a beat, and while he got criticized for somewhat partying after missing weight and not fighting, he says he went out for a short period of time just to hang out with people who made the trip to go watch him fight, and he felt he let him down already, and so he didn't want to just sit in his room and cry, basically. So he decided to go out for a little while, and people took some video of him and acted like he had no regard for what he did and for being unprofessional, but that wasn't 100% true. So I feel bad for Brian Battle in that part, but he did miss weight twice in 2 different weight classes, so that's not good, and that's not good for the UFC. Dana White hates that shit, so that's why he got cut. Anyway, their third fight, third official event happening tomorrow night, and here is the card starting with a couple of the fights. I'm just gonna highlight some notables. As we see, we got at the bottom Travis St. John versus Janzi Silva. We got Lights Out Kat Nelson versus Calandra Faria. With the first women's fight of the night, second fight of the night there. Lights Out Nelson she's been around in the combat sports world for a little bit. I've heard of her here and there, but never really followed her much. I follow her on Instagram though, so so it's a good follow, so you can go follow her. Anyway, next up we have Alex Caceres versus Sean West, which is that picture on the right. Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres, fought in the UFC for a while, and for a long time, actually. Had a pretty extensive career there, fought a lot of big names, and he's now fought for Dirty Boxing one other time where he lost by unanimous decision, but it was a good fight, honestly, and yeah, he did well. So he's definitely a name that is recognizable, so he is fighting again, trying to get his first win in Dirty Boxing. And we also have Tyson Nam, former UFC fighter as well, against Ricky Bandejas. Tyson Nam, Hawaiian guy. He was 3-5 in the UFC. He fought in Karate Combat as well, and he's on a 3-fight win streak right now with any of the promotions he's fought in since he got out of the UFC. He lost 2 in a row in the UFC, and then they cut him. He had a win over Ode Osborne though, and oh no, that was a loss. But anyway, and then Ricky Bandejas is coming over from Bellator, where he was 3-4. He fought in CFFC and Combate Global. He's on a 2-fight losing streak outside of this promotion, so this will be his first fight in Dirty Boxing. So that should be a fun fight. Next up, we have more former UFC fighters. Chase Sherman is let me find him. Where is that? They have this all, Tabology has this all crazy backwards, and I don't even know. I can't even find Chase Sherman's fight. What the hell? Oh, there it is. Chase Sherman versus Levi DaCosta. So that's that fight happening. Let's see. Chase Sherman was 4-11 in the UFC. That is fucking tough. But he fought in Karate Combat as well, and Gamebred's Bare Knuckle MMA. He lost in both of those. So he's looking for a win. He needs one at this point. Levi DaCosta, never really heard of him. Looks pretty big though. And yeah, it doesn't look like he's fought in BKFC and BYB. So he's had a bunch of bare knuckle fights basically coming into Dirty Boxing. So we'll see how he does here. Then we got Sergey Martinov versus Phil Haas. Phil Haas, also former UFC fighter, looking like why do I always forget his name with the bleach blonde hair? Kevin Randleman. He looks like a smaller version of Kevin Randleman. But anyway, he is coming off of grappling loss. He lost his last fight in DBX. He got disqualified for eye pokes, which is unfortunate. So he's hoping to get back into DBX and show him what he can do and get a win over Sergey Martinov. He looks like he's coming off a couple wins in RCC. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but of course there's a bunch of names here of people we in lower level, you know, organizations and stuff. So yeah, so there's that fight. Next up, we have the next women's fight, Jessica Rose Clark, Jessie Jess versus Zamora. Let me find her first name because I'm not exactly sure. Damn, they have this in such a shitty order. Claudia Zamora. So obviously Jessica Rose Clark, Jessie Jess, fought in the UFC for a while. She was 4-5 in the UFC. She is coming off of a win in DBX in her last fight. That was her first fight for DBX, where she got a unanimous decision win over Marilia Moraes. She had a couple Muay Thai fights, and then she lost in the UFC in her last 3 fights, which is unfortunate. 3 submissions as well. So this is kind of more in her wheelhouse because she doesn't seem to do well on the ground with the grappling and jiu-jitsu. So being on the feet with Dirty Boxing seems to be her thing. She looked really good in her last fight, and she's looking to extend that win streak to 2 in a row against Claudia Zamora, who hasn't had too many fights. She fought in PFL once and she was 0-1 there, which she fought in DBX as well once before. She fought Kat Nelson, who I talked about earlier, and she lost to her. She hasn't won since 2024. Oh, she fought in Dirty Boxing in 2024 as well, and she got a win there against Monica Medina. So she's 1-1 in DBX at the moment, looking to be 2-1 if she gets past Jessica Rose Clark. Next up, that fight with Brian Battle against Derek DeFreitas. And obviously Brian Battle coming off of a win in the UFC. He was on a 2-fight win streak where he had a performance of the night bonus against Kevin Jousset, and then a split decision win over Randy Brown. And then yeah, the weight issues happened, so he got cut. Derek DeFreitas, I think that's how you say his name, is fought in a couple lower level Combat FC and something else, Elite Fight Night. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, which is tough. Hasn't won since 2023. So yeah, we'll see how he does in his first Dirty Boxing fight happening tomorrow night. And then that brings us to our main event, Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus, oh no, I'm sorry, co-main and main, Hector Lombard versus James Cannon. And Lombard, as we know, fought in the UFC as well, fought in Bellator, I think, as well. Yep, he was 8-0 in Bellator. He fought in Pride, where he was 0-2 back in the day, and then fought in the UFC, where he was 3-8. He is a force to be reckoned with, though. He's nasty with it, and while he didn't win a ton, he still has a lot of power, and he's still pretty quick for his age, and he's just one of those guys that you just like, where did this guy come from? He's a specimen. So a lot of people talk shit about him being on the juice and stuff like that, but who knows? Either way, he's talented, and I think Dirty Boxing is probably a good place for him to land. I thought he fought in bare knuckle. It looks like he was scheduled to fight in bare knuckle. Oh, he did fight in bare knuckle. He had 3 wins in bare knuckle. It looks like he was actually a champ in bare knuckle as well. He lost it quickly to Lorenzo Hunt. But oh, that's right, because when he won the title, Lorenzo Hunt came into the ring and started talking shit, and Lombard just teed off on him with some crazy like machine gun type punches. It was nuts. But then Lorenzo Hunt got his get back in the ring when he came back and beat him for the title. So that was all back in 2020 and 2021. So it looks like he had another bare knuckle fight lined up before his last fight, and that got canceled. He fought in Gamebred's bare knuckle MMA as well, where he got a win, tap out from punches in the first round. So like I said, he's explosive and he's powerful, and he's not one of those guys you play around with. So Hector Lombard could do some big things in dirty boxing here. He is quite a bit older. He's 47 years old, but he still looks like he's probably about 27. It's insane. So as far as his body and his shape, his fitness, so yeah, he's an impressive guy. And then we got his opponent, who is James Cannon. He was 0-1 in LFA. He's coming off a win in Clinch Fight Club. That was a submission win there. Before that, he was on a horrible losing streak, 5 losses in a row. TKO, submissions, decisions, all of the above. But yeah, he's coming in to fight Hector Lombard, and that's going to be a tough ass fight for him. Now we're at the main event. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Rakeem Cleveland. Rozenstruik, being a former UFC contender, got out of the UFC at 9-6. He lost his last fight there. I think he just let his contract go, and they didn't re-sign him. Before that, lost to Pavlovich, though. He had 2 wins in a row against Tai Tuivasa and Shamil Gaziev. So, yeah, I mean, wins and losses riddled through there. But, you know, he was fighting pretty well in the UFC for a little while until he wasn't. He fought in Ryzen as well. He fought 1 fight there. And then Rakeem Cleveland, I've never heard of this guy really, but he fought in PFL. 5 fights in PFL, 3 fights in Bellator. He was 1-4 in PFL, 1-2 in Bellator. He's fought once in dirty boxing, where he got a first round finish over Maurice Green, who also fought in the UFC. He was on the Ultimate Fighter back in the day, the crochet boss, I believe they called him. He was somewhat of a John Jones protege, but yeah, he got a win over him. So that's how I should know him, but I just didn't remember that. Dirty boxing is still pretty new. So yeah, Rozenstruik more than likely the favorite to win that one, especially with the way he dispatched his last opponent to get him to this title fight. He had a second round finish. 2 minutes into the second round, he got a TKO win over Victor Cardosa. It was a pretty vicious knockout, or TKO. Wasn't a clean knockout, but it was a good one. So you got your inaugural title being handed out for the heavyweight division at DBX 3. Should be a good event. It's exciting. It's fun to watch. Go check it out. I'll be waiting for my boy Rob Perez to come back and fight for that title and take it away from whoever gets the win on Friday night tomorrow. Watch it for free on YouTube. It's a good event. I like it. It's fun. So check it out. And last but not least, let's talk about this Misfits Boxing. Misfits, what is it? Misfits X Series 22. They're calling it Ring of Thrones. I don't know, man. They come up with some shit. This is KSI's organization. Obviously he knows how to market shit, so I can't talk too much shit because yeah, I mean, he's pretty popular everywhere. YouTuber, influencer, boxer himself. He's boxed. He was supposed to box Dillon Danis and the last time he was scheduled to fight, but he had to drop out due to illnesses and injuries. And I'll tell you this, during the press conference, fucking Dillon Danis let him have it, talked mad shit. And he was talking shit to his opponent, and KSI was like, hey, I'll double your purse if you agree not to do nothing but jiu-jitsu and stand on your feet and fight. And Dillon was like, I don't need your money, I've got enough money. He's like, how about if I win on the feet and I don't take it to the ground and submit him, then you fight me in MMA next. So it doesn't seem like KSI is into that. He just laughed it off. But Dillon Danis is fighting on this card as well in an MMA event for Misfits against what the fuck is the guy's name? Warren Spencer. So that's happening. That's on the main card for the Misfits MMA championship, I guess. So they have a couple titles on the line. The whole main card looks like it's for titles. We got Ty Mitchell for the MFB Pro Super Middleweight title against Sean Hemphill. And then we got Dillon Danis versus Warren Spencer for the MMA championship. All but one. Joey Essex versus João Barbosa. That was a pretty funny exchange there. These guys were going at it in the press conference. There was a lot of shit talking. Let's see, we got the MFB interim middleweight title is what's on the line for Tony Ferguson versus Salt Papi. And then the MFB bridgerweight title is what's on the line with the Darren Till versus Luke Rockhold fight. So on the undercard, let's see, do we have anybody else here? Carla Jade versus Darren Harris. That was an interesting back and forth at the press conference there. Oh, Chase Demore, another influencer YouTuber guy. He's fought a few other times. He's a pretty cringy type dude though. It's tough to listen to him, and it's just tough to deal with his antics. But his opponent, Nathan Marcone, seems real goofy and doesn't seem like a fighter whatsoever. But it came with the heat in the face-to-face, like, I don't know what they were doing, some kind of interview face-to-face or some shit. And Nathan Marcone came in with some eggs and threw an egg and hit Chase Demore in the head. So Chase Demore did not show up to the press conference today, and it seems like there's a possibility he's gonna back out of the fight. And I don't know why, because it seems like if you look at the stature of both these guys, you're like, Chase Demore is gonna beat the shit out of him. But Chase Demore I've seen not do well in other fights, and he may be a big dude, but I'm not sure he's much of a fighter. So but this guy that he's supposed to be fighting doesn't look like a fighter either. So if he's gonna let one little egg get to him, I mean, it took a lot of guys to hold him back, I'll give him that much. But it was just a weird scene. So anyway, let's see who else. Anybody else down here? I don't think so. We got Ty Mitchell versus Sean Hemphill, like I said. Dillon Danis versus Warren Spencer. Joey Essex versus João Barbosa. That better be a good fight with all the shit they were talking. So then it brings us to the co-main event. We got Tony Ferguson El Cucuy versus, his actual name is Nathaniel Bustamante, but Salt Papi is how everyone knows him. His picture looks very different than the picture I'm showing here on the right hand side, because that was still in the middle of him getting in shape. I mean, he looks like he's got some muscles in those arms and stuff, but still not in full shape. Now he's slimmed down, looks like an actual fighter, doesn't look like the goofy influencer guy on TikTok or whatever he was on. So funny kind of dude though. He did post a video saying, I forgot what the video was about, some kind of trend going on TikTok right now, and he's like let's see if I have another talent that'll keep me from having to fight El Cucuy on this weekend. And what it is a song that starts playing, and then they're standing in front of a mirror, and they're gonna basically sing, like legitimately, to see if they can sing and record themselves. And so he starts trying to sing, and it just sounds horrible, and they just drop the phone quickly. That's the trend. I'm sorry, maybe I'm too deep in this shit, but it was funny, and I've seen it a couple times. But anyway, Salt Papi made that video, and his caption was, "Looks like I gotta fight El Cucuy." So, I mean, these guys know how to entertain. They definitely know. Inky Crow, what's up? Where all the white people at? Not much, bro. I am just, this is my normal show. So I'm just going over the events for this weekend. There's no UFC this weekend, so we have a couple of different other events going on. So I'm just getting through that. We got Tony Ferguson, who I'm sure you recognize, fighting Salt Papi, which is insane. Some influencer guy, but he can actually box, and that's what kind of what I was getting to. No fights this weekend? No. The UFC's off this weekend, more than likely because of the holiday with Labor Day or whatever. And on top of that, they have UFC Paris coming up next weekend, so they're just taking the week off, the rare week off, but we get a week off anyway. Dirty Boxing, I'm cold. Rage Bait Jackson whoops all of them. Oh shit, here we go. Yeah, so Tony Ferguson's fighting Salt Papi. It's a weird matchup, but it's happening. So we'll see how Tony looks in a straight boxing fight, which he's talked about in the past, saying that he could be a damn good boxer. For some reason is crazy. Gotta watch Fast Boxers for the weekend. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Ferguson's talked all the time about how he's a great boxer. We'll see how it holds up. We'll see how the time off is done for him. He seemed locked in. He was very calm. No shit talk between him and Salt Papi. They let everybody else do the talking. So, speaking of talking though, Darren Till versus Luke Rockhold were fucking relentless. And you think Ferg a good boxer? He's a good striker in MMA. I've never seen what he can do in a straight up boxing match. He's talked about, I mean, obviously we know he's good with the wrestling and grappling. He's a great jiu-jitsu guy, and he talks about that ankle pick all the time, which he is pretty good at. But yeah, when it comes to straight boxing, I'm not sure. So especially with his age, the damage he's taken, and the time off, I don't know, man. Was a big Ferg. Oh wait, was badass Ferg, I think, is gonna get weighted on. All right, so you don't have much faith in Tony Ferguson, and I don't blame you. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for him. We'll see how good Salt Papi really is, and we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what Ferguson can do. But Luke Rockhold versus Darren Till. Darren Till's fought in Misfits Boxing before, and he did pretty well. He's actually looked pretty good in his past couple fights. He fought Anthony Taylor, where he got a TKO win in the 6th round. He fought Darren Stewart, and he got a unanimous decision win there. And he fought Mohamed Muti, where he got a TKO win as well. Cardio is a hell of a killer for loud people. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, so Darren Till has had a few boxing matches, looked pretty good. That Muti was wild. Oh yeah, that was a fucking, I don't even remember what happened there. It says injury, so I'm not sure what happened with that one. But Darren Till's looked good in his boxing matches, I'll say that much. And as I mentioned earlier, Luke Rockhold fought in bare knuckle, and did not like getting hit in the face with bare knuckles, and got his tooth knocked out by Mike Perry, and then quit. I learned how to fake run on a treadmill from Salt Papi. Tommy, you would know who Salt Papi is. That's funny. But I do remember us talking about Salt Papi when he first started fighting, and we would talk about the fact that he was actually looking somewhat decent considering who he is. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting watching him fight Tony Ferguson. Is he gonna have too much respect, or is he gonna go out for the kill? That's one of my questions. And on top of that, is Ferguson gonna be able to hang? And how good is his boxing? As Inky Crow was saying, I'm not sure. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, Rockhold as well, I'm interested to find out how he's gonna do in a straight boxing match. He fought in Karate Combat and beat I was trying to remember the name earlier. I'm sure I can look it up because it was Karate Combat. That's usually listed here. Joe Schilling is who he beat in Karate Combat. He fought a grappling match last and lost. Before that, he lost to Mike Perry and Bare Knuckle, and he lost his last 4 fights in the UFC before that. So he's only had 1 win since 2017, and that was in that Karate Combat event against Joe Schilling. Joe Schilling's no punk. He's a badass, but a bit older and is taking a lot of damage as well. And Rockhold got him with a TKO win in the 3rd round. So we'll see how this goes. But man, these guys were going fucking at it in the press conference. Relentless. Just wouldn't shut. Darren Till would not shut the fuck up, and he just kept going and going and going. But yeah, man, just saw you on. Figured I'd come in and fuck with you a bit. Keep the grind up, brother. I'm a lurk now. Okay, cool. Appreciate you, Inky Crow. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for watching and supporting. I appreciate you. But yeah, so we'll see what happens here. And Darren Till's looked really good in his previous boxing matches, and on top of that, we know Luke Rockhold can fight, but how good he can fight in a straight boxing match, I don't know. He did well in that Karate Combat, but it's a whole different thing here, especially with Till, who's been in the ring actually boxing for a little while now, and Rockhold's just jumping in. A lot of shit talk. We'll see how much it gets backed up on Saturday night for Misfits Boxing X Series 22 on DAZN. I think it's a pay-per-view. I think you have to pay for it, but I don't even fucking know at this point. So you might have to go check that out. I would tell you if it was easy to find out, but it's not. It probably is. Just go to the website, but half the time it's questionable anyway. DAZN is weird with the way that they do things. They don't make it 100% clear and upfront. So either way, this is happening Saturday. Go check that out if you want something to watch. So we have an event on Friday, an event on Saturday. So we're not completely out of things. Oh shit, I did it again. Why do I do this every time? I'm gonna stop all of that. There we go. Okay, that's what I was trying to do. I got a little wrapped up, but yeah, that's it. We have an event Friday, DBX. We have an event Saturday, Misfits Boxing. Former UFC fighters fighting in both events, and a lot of them throughout both of these events. There's a lot of ex-UFC fighters. So if you're missing UFC quite a bit, since they won't be having any fights this weekend, you can watch those 2 events and get your combat sports fix, as well as seeing some former UFC fighters. So, you know, faces you recognize will be fighting in these fights. One of them's free for sure, which is DBX 3 on YouTube tomorrow. Check that out. The Misfits Boxing is on DAZN. Not sure if you just have to have the app or if it's actual pay-per-view. I don't know. Google it. I'm sorry. That's it for me, though. I will come back on... I don't know if I'm going to come back this weekend. I'll probably come back on Sunday with something. I'll come up with something on Sunday and still have a show. But until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do all the good stuff for YouTube. If you're here after the live, then make sure you drop a comment in there of something of some sort. It helps me out with the algorithm. And yeah, don't forget to do all that good stuff and come back on Sunday for whatever's happening around combat sports news, and we'll recap these 2 events. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.